Hello, friends, and welcome back. I hope you're all doing well by God's grace. Let's start the first part of the episode. If you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. The question hung heavy in the air: what happens when the walls of secrecy inside a family built on trust finally collapse? When truth is no longer hidden but dragged, kicking and screaming, into the unforgiving light of a courtroom. What follows is never quiet. Reputations crumble. Bonds fracture. Carefully constructed lives unravel in front of strangers. This was not just another hearing. This was the trial no one believed would ever happen. At the center of it all sat Robyn Brown, the quiet one, the careful one, the one who had always managed to remain composed. But today, she was no longer invisible. Today, she was the accused. The courtroom itself seemed to breathe tension. Every seat in the gallery was filled long before proceedings began. Reporters leaned forward, pens poised, cameras ready. A charged silence settled over the room, not peaceful, but suffocating. The kind of silence that presses against your chest and makes every breath feel heavier. When the judge entered, the sharp crack of the gavel shattered the stillness. Order in the court. And just like that, history began. Robyn sat rigid at the defense table, her trembling hands hidden beneath the polished wood. But her face betrayed her. The faint tightening of her lips, the flicker in her eyes, cracks in a carefully maintained facade. Behind her sat Cody, distant and unmoving. He didn't look at her. Not once. His silence spoke louder than any accusation. Across the room, Meri and Janelle stood united. They were no longer the dismissed voices of the past. Years of silence, pain, and disregard had hardened them into something unbreakable. Their posture was steady, their expressions controlled, but beneath it all burned something fierce. Not bitterness. Truth. Meri rose first, her voice calm but edged with steel. Your Honor, we are here because the defendant knowingly concealed property, a house purchased not for the family, but for herself. A secret residence, funded with shared resources, hidden in plain sight. The words struck the courtroom like thunder. A secret house. Gasps rippled through the gallery. Pens began to move faster. Cameras flashed. Janelle followed, placing a thick envelope onto the evidence table. Its weight alone seemed to carry meaning. Inside this envelope, she said, are mortgage documents, transfer records, and property deeds. All connected to a house Robyn Brown swore did not exist. The bailiff opened it. Paper after paper slid into view, each one another thread in a web of deception. Robyn's face drained of color. Her lawyer leaned toward her, whispering urgently, but even he seemed uncertain now. Doubt flickered across his expression. The evidence was not speculation. It was tangible. It was undeniable. The first witness took the stand, a real estate agent. Yes, she testified clearly. Robyn Brown purchased the property. She specifically requested discretion. She did not want anyone, including family, aware of the transaction. Another wave of shock swept through the room. Robyn lowered her head, her composure slipping further with every passing second. But the revelations didn't stop there. A bank official followed. Funds were transferred into a private account under Robyn Brown's name, he stated. These funds were directly used for mortgage payments. Now the whispers turned louder. More urgent. Meri stepped forward again, her voice cutting through the noise. This isn't just about property, she said. This is about betrayal. While we trusted her, while we gave everything, she was building a life in secret. The courtroom felt colder, heavier, more dangerous. Janelle added quietly, but with devastating precision, this house was not a backup plan. It was an exit strategy. The words landed like a blow. Robyn couldn't contain herself any longer. That's not true, she shouted, rising abruptly. The gavel slammed down. Order. But the damage was already done. The cracks were no longer subtle. They were visible to everyone. When the court reconvened, the question shifted from what Robyn had done to why. And the answer would prove even more destructive. Janelle presented new documents, emails, messages, private communications. One email in particular froze the room. Robyn had written to a realtor months before purchasing the house, asking about privacy, isolation, and starting a new life quietly. The phrase echoed in the minds of everyone present. A new life. A close family friend testified next, her voice trembling. She told me the house was hers, that she needed somewhere to go if everything fell apart. She asked me not to tell anyone. The word spread through the courtroom like wildfire. Escape. This wasn't precaution. This was planning. Robyn finally spoke in her defense, her voice breaking. I just wanted safety for my children. But the room didn't believe her. Not anymore. Meri's response was immediate and unforgiving. Safety built on stolen trust is not protection. It's abandonment. Then came the most damning moment of all. A small recorder was placed on the table. Robyn's own voice filled the courtroom. I can't do this anymore. If I have that house, I can leave anytime. Silence. Absolute, crushing silence. Her own words had turned against her. And they didn't stop there. Text messages confirmed her intent. I want the house in my name only. No family ties. The others can't ever know. A private journal followed, its pages revealing thoughts she never expected anyone else to read. That house is freedom. I deserve it. If I have to leave them behind, so be it. Each line drove the truth deeper. This wasn't fear. This wasn't confusion. This was choice. Calculated. Intentional. By the fourth day, the case had evolved into something even darker. It was no longer just about betrayal. It was about fraud. Financial records revealed a pattern: small withdrawals, hidden transfers, manipulated expenses. Money taken slowly, carefully over time. Thousands of dollars redirected. Not for the family. For the house. For the escape. The family's accountant confirmed it. Every suspicious transaction led back to Robyn's authorization. Duplicate expenses. Inflated costs. Money quietly siphoned away. The gallery erupted. She stole from them. The whisper spread like a verdict before the judge could speak. Robyn sat frozen. The woman who once held the family together now sat exposed by her own actions, her own words, her own choices. Meri stepped forward one last time that day, her voice steady, unwavering. For years, she told us there wasn't enough. That we had to sacrifice. And while we did, she was taking from us. A pause. A breath. Then the final blow. This wasn't survival. This was deception. And as the gavel struck once more, ending the session, one truth remained undeniable. The secret house was never just a house. It was the beginning of the end. The next morning, the courthouse did not feel like a place of law. It felt like a place of reckoning. The air outside was thick, heavy with anticipation. News vans lined the streets, their satellite dishes pointed skyward like silent witnesses. Reporters crowded the entrance, voices overlapping, questions firing into the void. Inside, the courtroom filled faster than ever before. Every seat taken. Every eye alert. Because now everyone understood this trial was no longer about what had happened. It was about what was still hidden. Robyn Brown entered slowly. Gone was the composure she once wore like armor. Her steps were measured, uncertain. Her face pale, hollow from sleepless nights. She didn't look at the gallery this time. Didn't look at Meri. Didn't look at Janelle. But she did look at Cody. Just for a moment. And in that moment, something shifted. Because this time, he didn't look away. His gaze met hers, cold, distant, and unrecognizable. Whatever had once existed between them had fractured beyond repair. There was no defense left in his eyes. Only realization. The gavel struck. Court is in session. The judge's tone carried a weight that silenced even the restless whispers. Papers settled. Pens hovered. The storm had not passed. It had only deepened. Meri rose first. But this time, she didn't carry an envelope. She carried something far more dangerous. A single, thin file. Your Honor, she began, her voice steady, almost quiet. We have shown the court the house, the motive, the intent, and the method. But today, we present the consequence. A ripple moved through the room. Consequence? Janelle stepped forward, her eyes locked on Robyn. For every action, she said, there is impact. And today, the court will hear from those who lived with the consequences of her deception. The courtroom shifted. This was different. This was no longer about documents. This was about people. The first witness was called. A young adult stepped forward, hesitant but determined. One of the children. The room seemed to hold its breath. They took the oath, hands trembling slightly, but when they spoke, their voice carried. "I didn't understand it at first," they said. "The money problems, the stress, the arguments. We were told things were tight, that everyone had to sacrifice." A pause. Their eyes flickered toward Robyn. "But now I know, it wasn't because we didn't have enough." Silence fell deeper. "It's because what we had was being taken." Robyn's shoulders stiffened. The words didn't accuse. They revealed. "We missed things. School trips. Medical appointments got delayed. There were nights we heard conversations, whispers about bills, about fear." Their voice cracked, but they didn't stop. "And all that time, there was another house. A breath. Waiting." The word echoed. Not loudly, but powerfully. Robyn shook her head, barely perceptible, as if rejecting the reality forming around her. But reality no longer needed her agreement. It was already there. A second witness followed. Another child. Older. More resolute. "I remember when she said we had to be strong," they began. "That families go through hard times. That we needed to trust each other." Their jaw tightened. "But trust doesn't look like lies." The courtroom stirred. "It doesn't look like secrets. And it definitely doesn't look like planning a life where the rest of us don't exist." Robyn closed her eyes. Tears slipped free, but no one moved to comfort her. Not this time. Meri didn't interrupt. Janelle didn't object. They simply stood there, allowing the truth to speak for itself. Then came the final witness of the morning. Cody. The shift in the room was immediate. He walked to the stand slowly, each step deliberate. The man who had once stood at the center of everything now looked like someone carrying the weight of its collapse. He took the oath. Sat down. For a long moment, he said nothing. "Then I didn't know." His voice was low, rough. "I didn't know about the house. Not at first." Robyn looked up sharply. Hope flickered. Just for a second. But it didn't last. "I defended her," he continued. "Every time someone questioned something, I defended her." His hands tightened. "I thought we were building something together. I thought the struggles were real. That we were all in it, equally." A pause. Then the truth. "But we weren't." The words landed harder than anything before. While we were trying to hold things together, she was planning how to leave. Robyn's breath caught. "Cody," she whispered. But the judge raised a hand. "Let the witness finish." Cody didn't look at her now. "I don't know when it started," he said. "Maybe it doesn't matter. What matters is, it was happening while we trusted her." His voice steadied. "And that's what breaks everything. Not anger. Not shouting. Just certainty." When he stepped down, the silence that followed was unlike anything before. It wasn't shock anymore. It was understanding. Robyn sat frozen. The room had turned against her completely, not with hostility, but with clarity. Her secrets were no longer hers. They belonged to everyone now. Janelle stepped forward one last time that day. "No more documents, Your Honor," she said quietly. "No more recordings. No more speculation." She gestured toward the witnesses. "Just truth." Meri followed, her voice carrying the final weight of the moment. "You've seen what she did. You've heard why she did it. And now, you've seen what it cost." A pause. A breath. "This isn't just betrayal of a family." Her eyes met Robyn's. "It's the destruction of trust itself." The judge leaned back, hands folded, his expression unreadable. The gavel rose. For a moment, it hovered, as if even time itself was waiting. Then crack. Court adjourned. But no one moved. Because deep down, everyone knew the verdict was getting closer. And whatever came next would end everything. The final day arrived with an eerie stillness. No chaos outside the courthouse. No shouting reporters. No frantic energy. Just silence. The kind of silence that comes before something irreversible. Inside, The courtroom filled slowly, almost respectfully. The spectacle had faded. What remained was something heavier, something final. This was no longer entertainment, no longer headlines. This was judgment. Robyn Brown walked in last. There was no strength left in her posture now. No attempt at composure. She looked smaller somehow, as if the weight of everything, the lies, the exposure, the consequences, had finally settled fully onto her shoulders. She didn't look at anyone. Not Meri. Not Janelle. Not even Cody. Because there was nothing left to search for in their faces. The judge entered without delay. The gavel struck once. Closing arguments. 2 words. But they carried the gravity of everything that had come before. Meri stood. No papers this time. No files. No evidence to present. Because there was nothing left to prove. "Your Honor," she began, her voice calm, steady, unshaken, "we have laid everything before this court. The secret property. The hidden finances. The deliberate deception." She took a slow step forward. But this case was never just about a house. Her gaze moved briefly across the room. It was about trust. The kind of trust that holds a family together. The kind of trust that, once broken, cannot be repaired. A pause. And the defendant didn't just break that trust. Her eyes settled on Robyn. She exploited it. The words didn't rise. They didn't need to. They landed. Janelle followed, her tone quieter, but sharper. "We believed her," she said. "Every explanation. Every excuse. Every moment she asked us to sacrifice, we did." Her hands clasped tightly. And while we were sacrificing, she was taking a breath. Not just money. Not just security. Her voice lowered. But choice. The courtroom stilled. She made decisions for all of us, without us. She decided we didn't matter. That we could be left behind. A final pause. That's not survival. Her eyes hardened. That's betrayal. When Janelle sat down, the room felt different. Not tense. Not uncertain. Resolved. All eyes turned to the defense. Robyn's attorney stood slowly, adjusting his jacket, gathering what little remained. "Your Honor," he began carefully, "my client has made mistakes, serious ones. But we cannot ignore context." A few heads shifted. Mothers act out of fear, out of protection, out of a need to secure a future for their children. He glanced at Robyn. She did not act out of malice, but out of desperation. For a moment, it almost sounded convincing. Almost. But intention, he continued, must matter. Her fear must matter. He stepped back. Because even he seemed to know it wasn't enough. Then, unexpectedly, Robyn stood. Her attorney turned, startled. "Mrs. Brown," but she didn't sit back down. She couldn't. Not anymore. Her voice, when it came, was fragile. But real. "I didn't think it would go this far," she said. "No performance. No strategy. Just truth, raw and unguarded. I told myself it was temporary. That I just needed something that was mine. Something safe." Her hands trembled at her sides. I felt like everything was slipping. The family, the pressure, the expectations. Her breath caught. And I was scared. A tear fell. Then another. But somewhere along the way, she swallowed hard. I stopped thinking about what it would do to everyone else. The courtroom didn't move. Didn't react. It just listened. I lied, she admitted. I hid things. I made decisions I shouldn't have made alone. Her voice broke completely now. I thought I was protecting myself. A long pause. But I see now, her eyes flickered, finally lifting, not to Cody. Not to the judge. But to Meri and Janelle. I was tearing everything apart. Silence. Heavy. Unforgiving. She sat down slowly. And for the first time since the trial began, there was nothing left to say. The judge leaned forward. Hands clasped. Eyes steady. He didn't rush. Didn't dramatize. Because this moment didn't need drama. It needed clarity. In this courtroom, he began, "We are not tasked with judging emotions." His gaze moved across the room. "We are tasked with judging actions." A pause. "And the actions presented here show a clear pattern: concealment, misrepresentation, and deliberate misuse of shared resources." Robyn lowered her head. The court acknowledges the defendant's claims of fear and personal justification. His voice remained even. But fear does not excuse deception. And personal justification does not absolve responsibility. Every word landed with precision. This was not a single mistake. A breath. It was a sustained course of conduct. The room held still. No movement. No sound. Just the weight of what was coming next. The judge raised the gavel. And for a brief moment, everything seemed to stop. Judgment is entered in favor of the plaintiffs. The words echoed. Robyn's eyes closed. Meri didn't react. Janelle didn't move. But something shifted. Something final. All concealed assets are to be disclosed immediately, the judge continued. The property in question will be subject to division under court supervision. A pause. Further financial review will determine the extent of restitution required. It wasn't explosive. It wasn't loud. But it was decisive. Crack. The gavel fell. Court is adjourned. This time, people moved. Slowly. Quietly. No chaos. No shouting. Because there was nothing left to uncover. Cody stood first. He hesitated, just for a second. Then walked out. Without a word. Without a glance back. Meri and Janelle gathered their things. No celebration. No victory. Just a quiet understanding. It was over. Robyn remained seated. Alone. The courtroom emptying around her. The echo of everything she had said, everything she had done, still lingering in the air. The house. The lies. The plan. All of it. Gone. Because in the end, it wasn't the courtroom that destroyed her. It was the truth. And now, there was nothing left to hide. First part is over. Thanks for watching this video. Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe the channel. Next part of the episode coming very soon.